What is going on, everybody? It's me, it's RDV, and I'm here basically at an impromptu stream. I figured, hey, I'd spend the last of Thanksgiving with my friend Eric, and just just shoot the shit,
And we can say whatever we want because nobody's watching.
right? Might as well. Let me see if I can just kind of post a link in another group in Discord and maybe see if somebody wants to join us.
Um, yeah, where's Aaron? He never met a stream he didn't like.
Yeah, that's the thing though. I thought usually he goes live, and I figured he would already been live, about an hour ago. I'm thinking food coma for this guy,
Probably.
right? And says we have one person watching. That's
me.
you. Oh man, I'll just post the link in Sports Ball. See if anybody wants to at least watch.
Yeah. I was texting back and forth with Joe, but apparently he brought his grandma home with him tonight. So,
Alive?
yeah, yes.
I don't know if you have I don't know if your friends have urns with their mothers. Found her in the garage. I decided to bring her home tonight. This got dark.
Joe's still young enough to have grandparents, so it's. Apparently, his family lives forever. There's all kinds of people in their 90s in his family tree right now.
Right. All my grandparents are dead.
Same here.
They croaked off in the 90s. The last one lasted to 2017.
Yeah, my last one was let me see if I got the dates right. 1936, 1959, 1965, and 1989.
Wait, your grandmother died in 1936?
My grandfather.
36, wow. You're that old to witness it, no?
Yeah.
We got two people watching besides you and I tonight. Not really much to talk about. Like I said, this is kind of just a chill stream. Just figure, there's people who are probably maybe didn't have Thanksgiving dinner with anybody, or just were looking for something to hang out with, or for those of you who are just kind of like slipping to a food coma and you need just some light Delilah music, just to put you to sleep. We're here for you.
That's right.
Delilah, man, that's nationwide. Everybody knows that. If you don't know, Delilah is the radio DJ we used to have in Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure she was nationwide too, probably just like the John Tesh show. It used to be like 97, like Light FM or like and it was always she'd always come on, just talk real quiet like this. And it's like kind of what you see Anna Gasteyer would do when it is the radio gig on Saturday Night Lights give, starting live, and she just. People call in and they had questions, it's like, we're gonna play some light music, you might like this, and you put it on. It's like literally, if you wanted to fall asleep, I don't know which is quicker, listen to Madman in the Box or listen to Delilah. Oh man. I was looking at some of the comic books coming out on December, and at least they're doing Gang War tie-ins.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a Daredevil tie-in. But can you guess who it is? It's not Matt Murdock. It's Electro.
Of course.
It's Daredevil. And that's come out in, I believe, December, And then Luke Cage, because remember, he gave up being a superhero, become the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Now has to wear a mask to hide his identity, and he's masquerading as a superhero again. I
see.
It's like Jonah Jameson basically going on the air and like pretending to be somebody else and criticizing Spider-Man, after stopping. Well, they wrote themselves in the corner.
It's Marvel Comics. They're creatively bankrupt and have been for years.
Horrendous. As far as the costume, he has like a Juggernaut face or mask on. It goes down actually more like Ares, God of War. It goes down the middle part. It's a silver. He looks like Guardian. like the crappy version from Supergirl, that style.
Yeah,
And
I said, that's more power to anybody that wants to spend their money on it. But I said, yeah, that's what I'll take this time to segue over to DC, which is what makes it so frustrating. There is they've actually got 4 or 5 books that I actually sort of look forward to, but they're also
right,
doing far and away the worst stuff. Marvel's just bad across the board. I mean,
yeah,
I can't go to bat. Well, Captain America until it gets too cute. But you know, speaking of comics, so yeah, hell, I've been feeling like shit for the last 2 weeks. Went to get my books yesterday. I wrote a list,
yeah,
10 books.
yes.
Still forgot to get one of them,
Ooh.
and the Godzilla and the Dracula. I bought different covers of the first issue because they were next to the second issue. So I I screwed up across the
At
board.
and this is at your shop, right?
Yeah. Well, I said, I mean, I've been firing on all cylinders for for 2 weeks.
My question is, does anybody not put the old books behind the new books? Like,
we put them next to it to get people to buy both. I
uh,
didn't think of that, and in the old days there would have been a sign that said first issue,
yeah,
and then the second issue. But I didn't. James didn't do that, and I just
yeah.
read it. I like the cover for the second printing of Dracula, but
My
I already read
my
it.
shop, he has he puts the new books, and behind him he has
Yeah.
the orange divide or band or board.
Well,
Right,
our new release wall is way bigger than it should be,
but
so there's room for everything. And I
yeah,
get the purpose, but put a sign up. I mean, I don't know how many other people screwed up, but I get. I was reading my books. Okay, I'll read the Godzilla, the King Kong Godzilla. Oh fuck, it's first issue. And I
right.
went to read the Dracula. Son of a. I'll read Super. Oh man. And I got so petulantly pissed that I didn't even bother to read World's Finest. And I got the hack slash, and I looked through that. I go, yeah, I don't even think I'm gonna
I
bother to
saw
read
the
it.
art on the first one, and I passed up on that.
Well, the art was terrible, but
Yeah,
and I thought,
I didn't care what the story is. The art was horrendous.
You know what else I noticed that I should have been a red flag. Who in the hell is Zoe Thorogood? That her name is above the title.
Why I don't know. Is she related to somebody? Is she she must know somebody, an executive? Like
Well, she's
was
pretty
she
impressed
dating?
with herself.
Was she dating somebody?
She did something that was really stupid, also, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway,
It's probably a good thing.
yeah, I said so. I mean, I think I'm out on that, but
That's like me trying to remember what happened to Tom Taylor book. It's probably a good thing I don't remember it.
But I did. I got this.
Oh, Suprema.
It's My Sister Suprema. It's Chuck Dixon.
Oh, it is, yeah. And then Anthony something Gonzalez.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. I mean, it's manga style.
Yeah.
And it was a very quick read. Wasn't that expensive. Jerry and I bought them, and it was fun. I don't know if I'll keep getting them because it was like $13, and it took like 10 minutes to read, if that.
But
it was fun.
Yeah, I went by my sister's house today for Thanksgiving. Went over there, had the turkey, and had all stuff. And my sister's cool. My sister's we're 11 years apart. She's the oldest. I'm the youngest. She always puts out a plate full of shrimp. So whenever I go by her house, or like there's New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Super Bowl party, it's always shrimp.
We had shrimp today too. I didn't eat much of it, but I gotta tell you real quick. It's the premise of this,
Yeah,
or if you're the premise,
yeah,
is this
premise.
kid is a comic book freak, and he wants nothing more than to be a superhero. And he's real smart, so he's got all these formulas. He's figured out exactly how to become one.
Yeah,
Where he's gonna be in a position where he's gonna call down some lightning and it'll supercharge him. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, it ends up giving powers to his sister.
Yeah,
who doesn't want anything to do with any of it.
That's usually how it goes. It's like then he's got to try to convince her to do this. It's like it's like in And does he now that does he become the villain?
No.
Oh,
He's trying to teach her how to be a superhero, but
that would be awesome. Like he gets so jealous because she squandered his powers, and he becomes jealous, and becomes the super villain.
I don't think this is that going to be that kind of book. I think this is just going to
I
be
know,
light and fun.
but honestly, that's always the trope. How it is like one's jealous because you passed up, and it sounds like a CW show because that was a plot in Supergirl. One of his, Dreamer, who was the guy who identifies as a woman, somehow got the powers that go to all the women in the race. Yeah, bad writing. His sister, because I refuse to play the pronoun game. And if you're triggered by this, sorry, not sorry. You have a right to be offended. I have the right to not care. But Dreamer's sister was super pissed off because she was supposed to be the next one in line to receive the powers, and yet went to her brother. And throughout the whole series, for the most series, it was like a big story arc where her family didn't talk to her. Her mother passed on, and so eventually they did make up, But it was like it just. I love that part. That's an origin story right there. That should be the villain origin story. It's like like
So
this kid. Like I said, I love the fact that this kid is like, he wants to give himself power and stuff. Then it goes to somebody who doesn't even care about that, and then I just want this character to become like the uber, like Dexter's Lab villain, super villain, going against like a DD who doesn't give a shit and has powers.
so in Supergirl, I know as a trans person playing the character,
it was like
she was playing a trans character also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then for those who don't know this, I forgot what the real person's name is.
Natalie Maines that's
Natalie Maines or something. But they were
that's the lead singer of Dixie Chicks. It's something like I think it's something.
Danielle Maines or whatever. This person was the person that basically caused the whole stink about the bathroom down south. They had that whole about wanting to use the women's bathroom, so they had to pass a law. Yeah, that was all they had for though.
By the way, you're not doing your hostly duties. Hello to Fear Monarch.
Yes, I saw that. I was waiting for a segue. But what's up, man? Saying early 2000 Marvel manga, haha. I guess he's talking about the book you showed.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Ed? Yeah. We, for those who don't know, or just maybe you haven't really watched us earlier for the past years, Pixel and I, we reviewed Supergirl, but we only did the final season because, actually no, the final 2 seasons because, well, we figured jump on for the ratings. And we got views on it. Whenever, and that's one thing about me. Everybody knows me. I try to find the good in everything. I try to write them off, I may watch like the movie The Marvels. I want to hit HBO Max or the Max or Disney Plus, whatever it's going to be on. I think it's been Disney Plus because Marvel, yeah. I'll watch it just like I watched Captain Marvel. I'll give it a fair shake. I'm not going to hate on it without watching it, but I mean, it does not look good, and I'm not the target audience. But hearing good things about the girl who plays Miss Marvel, the younger Imani, I think her name was
Iman Vellani.
Yeah, who is? Well, I loved her in the Disney Plus show, but I said I'll give it a fair shake and then I'll do a short review about it. But it's I said I don't understand the hate for the movie. No, I understand that it now people have a right to their opinion. You can say it's a garbage movie, and it's because of this. That's why it did worse than the Flash. But it is weird though, as far as the movie. It's not this movie, but every movie that's come out except for Oppenheimer and Barbie has not been anywhere decent as far as money making a profit.
Before we get going, Fear Monarch, I assume that you have suffered through some of my videos with Wes.
It looks familiar.
Well, that's the line that Wes tagged me with.
Oh.
So.
I'll say when I see this is Avatar, it looks like Fear and Loathing. video movie or cover movie.
As far as the maybe the reason why most of the other movies haven't done that well is because most of the other ones haven't been that good. Now, maybe people like okay, like the Marvels. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe but it's how do I put this? It's the same pattern. They make a movie for a much smaller audience, and then label the people that they weren't making the movie for not supporting it. And maybe people like me, I mean, I'm not saying me in general, are getting tired of being called racist, bigots, homophobes.
I hear you.
Because we don't want to watch, like in this case, Freaky Friday done with a superhero. When you see Samuel L. Jackson, who was the epitome of cool for the majority of his career and for the majority of his time as Nick Fury.
Yep.
You see him and he's got a cat on his shoulder. Captain Marvel flies off with a cat on her shoulder. I'm sorry, for a company that gave us movies that hell, I said Spider-Man No Way Home, less or 2 years ago, perfect fan service movie, huge success. But it's like they refuse to make any more movies like that because they are chasing this. Well, they're not chasing non-existent audience. They're chasing the ESG money. Let's be honest.
Pretty much.
And and so if you're going to do that, if you're going to purposely make shit, don't get bent out of shape when people call you out on it. And like I said, I'm starting to be, I'm like the anti backlash at this point, because if you're ranting and raving about people ranting and raving about that, my question would be, what's it to you? If you can say that about them, I can say that about you. I said, neither one of the Black Pills opinions or the people attacking the Black Pills are going to change the people making these subpar movies. Because for the ones that, like I said, Barbie was a movie that knew who their audience was, but it had enough, I'm guessing the guys sucked it up and took their dates because, well, there are worse things to do for 2 hours than watching Margot Robbie strut around in various stages of undress and high heels.
I mean,
there are worse ways to spend an evening. And as far as Oppenheimer, I think that was just right place, right time. There are many times throughout the last 20 years where that movie wouldn't have done a third of the business that it did.
If it had been done in the 90s, I don't think it did either.
I'm just saying it could have been done 2 years ago and not done that. It's just people. It's almost like, people were so starved for a good movie that they attached themselves to that, and apparently it was a good enough movie to become
having both at the same time. Barbenheimer, that meme really took off with the kids and stuff. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, let's go check this out," because it's and I don't know if everybody going in there knew it was going to be a history movie, a history thing. I didn't realize it was going to be like 3 hours. When I went in there, I was like,
Cillian Murphy, or however you pronounce his name, was in it. That should tell you right there. It probably wasn't going to be action packed. He's more of a.
Well, I did like it. As far as the movie goes, story wise, it was weird seeing Robert Downey Jr. as a villain in the movie.
Was he in Oppenheimer?
Yeah, he was the guy who was against Oppenheimer. He was the guy. He was jealous.
I didn't even know he was in it.
Control. Yep. What's up to Glinzer? Saying happy Thanksgiving. Watching us over on Twitch. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Geeky. Saying he didn't see either of them. You're just not a man of culture. It's not only it's going to be an intermission needed movie.
Yeah.
Truly, I'm just glad that I was able to I didn't drink anything. I did my business before I went to the theater. The one that killed me the most was John Wick 4. That's the one that shocked me more. So about halfway through the movie, I had to pee. and getting up in age, I'm getting close to 40. I've already had one kidney stone, and I don't want to cause more irreparable damage by holding it as much as I can, because I'm pretty sure it's not good for your bladder. When it says you start getting side pains because you gotta go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But man, but not enough about potty humor. Even though this is a potty
Keep
tonight, not
talking.
yeah, nice. Yeah, now brains off camera. Uh, Honestly, as far as the black pills, I mean, I don't even care to call them black pills anymore. I just call them shills. I mean, there are some might have genuine opinions. The other ones are just like, well, if I say this, I copy this person, it's working for them. Maybe I can leech off some viewers from them, and then, oh, if I hang out with this person, and then I share their viewers, it's a common thing. Not chase trending. It's more like, what's the next movie that looks like it's gonna flop? Now, if they ever start to do good movies again, you're going to see these channels just drop, or they're going to start switching on a dime to praising them. You know, it's. I'm curious to see if it ever happens. I don't think you'll see it in your lifetime. It's with the way that the world's been going as far as the culture and stuff. But
I do remember the black pill channels were all very complimentary to No Way Home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
But I mean, if woke culture for whatever reason starts to go away, I'm curious to see a lot of these channels that focus on the negativity and calling out this stuff. If it does become those channels that just praise everything, that's good.
Well,
And
I mean,
then that's it.
You go back 6 or 7 years and you look at the movies that the Marvel Studios were making. Then you go to this, the last couple, and the way they're touting it is the number one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. It was also the lowest grossing superhero movie that they've ever done. And then they said it's the highest grossing movie by a black female director. So it was all identity politics.
That's a new thing I've heard. But the other one, it's number one movie in your critics rate. It's the number one movie. That's been going on since the 90s.
No. When they said critics said it was number one at the box office for the first week. Of course it was.
Yeah.
But it was also
it's
far and away the lowest grossing movie they'd ever made.
But that's always the trailers. It's been doing that since Spider-Man came out, the first Spider-Man movie. They're like, oh, it's a number one movie at the theaters now.
It's not going to do $250 million worldwide.
No.
Think about how, and if it were, and it's not because there's that many more misogynists and bigots and homophobes and sexists. No. It's a shit movie, and people are no longer. I'm sure some of these movies made a couple $100 million each that they may not have if they hadn't been attached to the Marvel wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those wheels are broken. The wheels have come off of that. They're going to have to earn their audience again. And I'm sorry, it's not we don't like strong women.
Oh, we don't like shit stories.
Right. There was
a guy or a girl. Yeah, I agree with you.
Apparently the young kid is having fun, and look, and she looks like she's happy to be there. Well, then create a vehicle for her. They did that with Ms. Marvel.
Yep.
I know it didn't get the highest ratings in the world, but I'm sure it did pretty well among young kids. Well, unfortunately, I said, I don't know that that's enough to carry a movie. Well, it would be if it were a fun movie and didn't preach. But I don't know if Marvel's capable of doing that at this point.
Probably not.
I wonder. And it is going to be kind of unfortunate because I predict that Aquaman is going to bomb worse than the Flash.
We're just talking about this at the dinner table as far as Aquaman 2. I'm kind of annoyed that I don't like Amber Heard, but cutting her character out of the movie, she's a main character to the story, and if you take her character out completely, it's gonna not make sense because, wait, shouldn't Mara be there to basically protect her daughter? Like, is she not going to be? I don't know if she's how much she's in the movie, but she wasn't in the. They didn't advertise her in the trailer at all, which I thought was really shocking because usually they don't care. They will shove it down your throat. So maybe they're changing
Well,
tactics.
they did do that with Ezra Miller. And even though they say only a small percentage of people actually knew what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much I believe that because that movie just tanked.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember I saw the preview, like the first trailer for it, I think at the Super Bowl, and it looked good.
Yeah.
But so I think, and I don't care.
I just want.
I think Amber Heard's a garbage person, but you know, Johnny Depp was on stage in Paris fantasizing about killing Trump. So he's a shit person too. But but that's, you know,
What she did to him was horrible, but if it had been not made a public trial, you would have known anyway.
no.
And that's the thing.
And, so if you didn't replace her, then lean into it because she was a good character in the movie, and I'm sure she's a good character in this.
There are a lot of writers that say, and we've seen this on Twitter, experiencing. We've seen this where people, they are artists, they're horrible. They if you're a Trump person, they call you a Nazi, they call you fascist, they call you a racist bigot, but then they're like, well, buy my book.
Well, yeah, and it's also time to stop rewarding that behavior too. Her problems are with Johnny Depp, not so much with the audience of the movies she makes. Jason Momoa is a far left SJW idiot also, so it's not like he's Henry Cavill.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like there are very few actors that you can actually say like, hey, that person's actually a really nice person. I respect them. But I mean,
You
as
can
far
tell
as
who they are because
yeah,
Twitter's trying
yeah.
to destroy them.
I'm
And
not
you can
watching.
tell who's
I'm not
shit because Twitter defends them.
like I said. I'm not watching Aquaman 2 so I can watch Amber Heard, or I'm not watching it to watch Jason Momoa. I'm watching to watch a decent story. You take away a central character because they said something, I don't know, off camera or did something. Yes, is she a garbage person? Do you want to give your money to it? No. But for those of us who actually just want an actually a decent story, just put her in there, And then for those who don't want to give any money, just watch it later on HBO Max if you want to watch it, or pirate. I don't care. But I mean, like it's just the point. It's just for them. I think they'll still make money with her in there if they don't, taking her out though, and then it ruins the whole entire story for me. It's like saying like Jason Momoa said something or did something, and then we're gonna go with Mara, going after the kid, trying to protect the baby because Jason Momoa is a shit person. He did this, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I just want a good story. Perfect example was what Mark Waid did to Richard Meyer, and that was very controversial. He was a really dick move. There's people who will not buy anything written by Mark Waid, and I gotta say though, it seems like Mark Waid's not changed his ways, but he's not out there humiliating people as far as that I've seen personally seen. But I mean, look at it this way: I can separate what he says online because he's just a writer. He's not a celebrity. Just like Jason Momoa, I don't consider them to be celebrities. I think these people are actors. People are doing a job. If they do their job fine, they can say what the hell they want there. But eventually, I do agree with you. It does come to a point where you have to draw the line. If it's just the people who are out there right now, the celebrities, if all of them hate us, we shouldn't give any money whatsoever.
No, I understand. To me, it's like I said, the left ought to really be grateful that the right isn't as petty and vindictive as they are.
Well, yeah,
because if we held them to the same standards, none of these people would make any money because we're the ones that come out and support that stuff in larger numbers. Now, as far as Mark Waid goes, I don't blame anybody that won't buy any of his work because of his past actions.
Yeah.
He is a vile individual who's got, I don't know if it's a split personality. I don't know what it is, but he,
It's
like I said,
diva. I think it's diva mentality where he
what he
has.
did to Richard Meyer was despicable. And like I said, I mean, I will buy World's Finest because he's a piece of shit person. He's
Yeah.
a writer, and Dan Mora didn't try to keep Richard's book from being published. I don't know. I have no use for the color. I think Tamara Bonvillain is the
Well,
color.
I think when this started, the whole Richard Meyer and Mark Waid thing, I think Dan Moore was just starting out over at DC.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't. I mean, I understand why he didn't say ever speak up or anything like that because
It's not his place to. I mean, he has nothing to do with it.
No,
you get an assignment, you do it. I mean, that's
yeah.
So I mean, it's like I'm not supporting Mark Waid. I'm supporting Dan Moore. I mean, I don't know because I hate giving money to
And
DC.
that's what I have Aquaman
suck.
2. Aquaman 2, I'm supporting everyone else that worked on this movie hard, and just now because Amber Heard did something, all the rest of them were basically not going to get paid because
I think it's going to bomb, not because of
it's going to bomb, but I mean,
but because of the resetting the universe. There's it's like it doesn't it's not going to help Aquaman. How big a failure the Marvels was, because now it's almost like we have a they're going to call it superhero fatigue. I don't think it's that. I think it's I don't think it's ever fully recovered from the pandemic.
Yeah,
I think Spider-Man No Way Home bucked that trend because it was everything that you want in one of these kind of movies. Aquaman may very well be that, but it's like now it's there's no reason why Shazam should have bombed as hard as it did, or Black Adam, or hell, I'm sure even the Flash should have done a little better. And Aquaman will suffer. Is just going to get swept away in that as well, and that's unfortunate.
I guess, like I said, I'm still gonna go see it. But, I don't. Even with Amber Heard, they didn't say it. They didn't cut her whatsoever. Just maybe with the trailer, she's less. They don't show her, but she's in there fully. Or I don't think it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's the best movie ever. It's gonna be a mid story, or it could be or just like Aquaman 1.
The first one was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that in the. No, I didn't. Because I think Endgame was the last thing I saw in the theater.
But we're getting Ocean Master, we're getting Black Manta again, and then we're getting Nice Man, Aqua Baby.
And I saw where I guess he teams up with his brother this time.
Yes.
I like how he goes, go flex your muscles. Yes, and so they're leading into that. I think that's good. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a fun movie, just like the first one.
Well, Shazam 2, there wasn't really nothing wrong with that. I liked it.
Right. As I said, there's no reason why that should have bombed.
And the only thing I can think of is that people just don't want to go out and pay for theater tickets. They'd rather just wait for it to go on Pirate Site or wait for it to hit somewhere else.
Oh, that's part of it. But again, you had all those same options with Spider-Man, and that was a huge success. I think one thing, I don't care how nice a sound or a setup you have, you can't replicate the cinema experience or the IMAX experience. So if you do a product that resonates with the fans, because a lot of fans at this point are feeling like they're not only not making the movies for them, they're going out of their way to not make them for them.
True.
And then attack them after they've not done that.
That seriously doesn't help.
That is, and I don't think any of that applies to Aquaman, but Aquaman's going to suffer from that because, again, people that have been supporting this stuff are getting tired of being told that they're shit.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, it's
Rhaegar, explain to me what I just said because I'm just rambling, so I don't even know what I just said. But I appreciate that.
Keep using the same buildings over and over again too.
May I?
Go ahead.
May I do this for you tonight?
Go ahead.
How's it going, little Rhaegar? Was that okay?
Oh, we'll find out. Does he want me?
I know I don't do it as well as you do, but.
How's it going, little Rhaegar?
Yeah, that's almost creepy. I'm glad I don't do that as well as you. mean, I'd be like,
He's hard to catch, you know.
how's it going, little Venkman?
How's it going, Eric?
Ew.
No, like I said, I wanted to see this movie. I don't care that it's the last Snyder movie. I don't care that. I just want to watch a good movie. Aquaman,
last Snyder movie.
Yeah, Scott Snyder. Well, I mean the Scott Snyder era. It's a Snyderverse. It's the last one.
You mean
Aquaman?
Zack Snyder?
Oh, so what? Sorry.
I don't really consider Aquaman part of that because it wasn't dour.
Well, the reason I consider part of that because his character was in the Snyderverse.
Speaking of, did you see where 1 week after Mags was dunking on the Chuds because she was doing a book for Zack Snyder, she was e-bagging for the second time in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know what's these people. I said these people will call you asshole, and then next minute it's like, hey, want to buy my book?
No, she. It's funny that Richard, who has been very, very
kind
to her last week, has gone back to, I believe he's back to calling him Brian, and because she's become just so fucking insane. And I said I'm not gonna say anything more because, like I said, Mags and I have a mutual friend, so I'm not gonna say anything. So
you and I have a mutual friend who's a mutual friend with him. So I said,
yeah, exactly.
But it's like I said, it's the point where comes down to where these people either they're just that crass and they don't care, or they are just not that bright and they're being played because they have the right virtue signals.
Oh, no question. I said that the diversity hire, the age of the diversity hire has just about ended, or it's on its last legs. I don't know if it's enough to save the industry. I don't think it is, unfortunately, because I think that there are more Vitas and Dannys and Stephanies and out there, and they'll just find them. But they're now Jazdia. What's that woman that's doing White Widow? Yeah,
Jodie Hauser.
No, it's something Gailey. That's ironic.
But getting back to No Way Home, you brought that up and how that there was a banger that had a lot of people coming back from the Sonyverse. And I think that really had to do with the movie being a big success. You take out everyone from the Sonyverse, and you just have Doctor Strange and Peter Parker, Tom Holland. I don't think it would do as well. I said,
well, it would have done well
because you're appealing. You were basically appeasing both fans.
Yeah, you were getting the best of both worlds by this.
Yeah,
and obviously, if you didn't have access to the Sony characters, it doesn't do as well. But then it's a different movie. It might have. I still think it would have done very well.
Probably similar to the other one, Far From Home. Probably the same amount of.
I think that cracked $1 billion, didn't it?
I don't know. I don't see. Unlike everybody else, I don't look to see what it's making. My thing is, I watch it. Do I like it? And if I don't like it, that's one thing. Well, if I do like it, it sucks though. It does suck though, because if a movie flops, is very little chance of getting a sequel or even more.
No. That's
what I'm saying. That's
if a movie made for people like us bombs, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
But if it traffics in identity politics and everybody from the key grip to the main star checks boxes, you can fail upward and you'll get another chance. We're not done with these Marvel's characters, I promise you.
Oh, we're definitely not.
Because somebody will say it wasn't progressive enough.
And I for me, if the final nail in the coffin is Daredevil, is just for first Marvel goes. If Daredevil flops, this new Daredevil Born Again TV series, I don't see anybody even wanting to get. First of all, what movies are coming out that people are excited about? I don't really think anybody's really excited for anything past what was it, Phase 4 with Endgame. Some people like Loki. I like Loki the first season, but I never had a desire to go. I see the second season. I just keep forgetting that's out. And that's how much I care about continuing the show. Because the first season was all right, but it wasn't like, oh, I gotta watch the next episode. It wasn't like that. We reviewed it on the channel here, but that's the only reason I watched it because I was reviewing it.
Yeah, Undead saying No Way Home was messy at times and had too much stuff. See, I disagree.
Well,
Like I said, I just strapped in and enjoyed.
Here's what No Way Home did. It took Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 and showed it. This is how you do it. This is how you have multiple people in here. Give them enough screen time and make it a fan service movie that people want. Spider-Man 3 had so much interference, and then, which I can't really blame Sam Raimi for it, but it bombed because they had too many people in there, and with nobody knowing how to handle, how to direct, and write a story. And I said studio interference really ruined it a lot. But I mean, because they wanted to bring in Venom, then you had Sandman, which Sandman I thought was really good in that movie. I mean, the problem was Venom. You take Venom out, I think that movie would be so much better.
I'm not one of those people that shits on Spider-Man 3, but Maranya to go. You heard clickbait people or checkbox people are already asking for the Valkyrie Carol cut of the Marvels.
Yes,
that wasn't made. They just intimated that was something that they thought about doing.
The rumor is going up. Yeah, the speculation they're saying, oh, because they confessed they actually are getting lesbian lovers.
But now, I think you have a better chance of Marvel making that movie.
you want the scissor cut.
Yeah. As opposed to learning the right lessons from this. It's like I said, I understand that they're going ahead with the second Shang-Chi movie with the same unlikable piece of shit. So it's like I said, they're at a crossroads right now. They've got two choices. They either ride the DEI or the ESG train until it runs out of money, or they course correct.
You should probably explain.
Sadly, what ESG I think is. I know what train.
You should probably explain what ESG is for people who may not know what it is.
God,
I know somewhat, but I don't follow that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the hell it stands for, but it's basically getting subsidized. Basically, the more progressive things that you put into something, the more you're paid for it. It's basically like a giant, quota system where they said it basically the woker it is, the more you get paid. It's the more it's subsidized. And I don't know how that works, because when there's no return on that, it's how Bob Iger can get richer than God while everybody on his board is hemorrhaging money.
Rhaegar's asking, speaking of Sam Raimi.
Thank you. Yeah. Environmental social governance score. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought the G was for gay.
It might as well be.
Straker is saying, speaking of Sam Raimi, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness discussed. I thought it was a decent movie. Very heavy on Wanda being a villain, so I'm confused. Is she a villain or is she redeemed because she's a woman? She had excuse. I say lock her up, put her in the raft, take away her powers, depower, put anti-magic bracelets, whatever you have, take away her powers. No excuse. Sorry, you're no longer a hero when you do that. She murdered people. Sorry, there's no going back for that.
You want to know what movie I want to see Marvel make? That's what I want to see.
Dude, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
The Mayday Parker one. I just finished the first 100-issue series today.
Yep.
Rereading it. I hadn't read it since it came out 20 years ago. It was so much fun. And it's, like I said, a perfect comic book for people that like comics. I mean, it had it had like a combination between Silver and Bronze Age and all ages, because I mean, not a lot of people died. Peter and Mary Jane were happily married. They knew that May was Spider Girl, and they tried to help her through that. And
You had a little normie growing up. I like to watch that.
and his arc is so well done in this.
Yes.
Have you read that series?
I read some of it, not all the way through, but I'm reading up about it. The MR2.
Yeah, I think it's M2.
Yeah.
Because the Fantastic Five, the Next Avengers or Avengers Next, whatever it's called, just good stuff. I mean, it's basically Tom DeFalco, who is so underrated as a creator. I would love to have him on one time.
I admit sometimes I get him confused with Tom Brevoort or Brevoort.
No, Tom DeFalco doesn't suck. DeFalco doesn't suck.
He's the wait. He's the only Tom that has the testosterone.
And the sad thing is, Tom Brevoort is it would be on my short list of people to talk comics with, because when he's not playing Tom Brevoort, Marvel shill,
yeah,
he's as knowledgeable as anybody, not named Roy Thomas.
Yeah. Honestly, I like what I saw of the Spider-Girl universe. One of the people I follow on my Twitter account, I think her name's like Mary Jane or something, or May, whoever. She's basically a big, huge fan of Mary Jane, and then Spider-Girl. She finally completed her collection. She has all the trades, the hardcover trades of all the Spider-Girls. I'm like, that's $300 or more. Some of those.
Because there's the 100-issue series.
There's like 12.
Her first appearance was in What If 105 and that book alone is worth over $100. I don't have that.
Yeah,
but it was reprinted in Spider-Girl Zero.
Yeah,
and then there was another 30-issue series and then another miniseries after that.
Yeah.
And then I think there was still some stories in Spider-Man Family about 7 or 8 years ago. I don't have those, but I just love that character. I mean, I could read another. I wish it'd last 200 issues.
Just 1 second. Shameless plug. We did read this on the channel, so go check that out after the stream. Just look up Spider-Girl #1. We did read it. Maranya was Spider-Girl, and I believe the green was a delicate flower. One of the issue.
I might have been.
You might have been one of the extras. You might have been Mrs. Watkins.
Nah, she wasn't. She didn't make it. Aunt May was finally croaked off when this series was set. So
yeah,
I'm sure Anna Watkins was too. And yes, we know it's Watson. It's a bit.
Yes. Honestly, good series. I wouldn't mind reading more of it, but sadly, a lot of people did not take kindly to our reading of it. I don't understand.
It's not Geeky Puppet Show material.
It's I think it's just that a lot of people just don't. It's a niche. Like, people love the series, but it's like they don't want to watch somebody reading it, or they've already know the story. But honestly, I wonder how much better would do now. The fact that everybody's got this craving, and then especially with Ultimate Spider-Man coming out, they got the two kids. Peter with his horrible beard, which he needs to shave off. I hate that. He looks too old. I'm not sure how old he's supposed to be because his kids look like 13 or 12. So maybe he is in his, because this is a slight time scale.
I don't know how. I'm still on the fence, leaning towards not getting this.
He looks like Richard Riker.
Because I don't. Do we remember who's writing it?
It is Jonathan Hickman, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if.
And Marco Cicchetto's doing the art. So I mean, I'm like, I kind of want to see this because Marco Cicchetto's art.
If Hickman brings his Fantastic Four sensibilities to this series, I think it can be fantastic. No pun intended. If he brings Avengers, any of his indie books, his X-Men, I don't think it's going to be good at all. Because I just don't. I nothing against those. I know I'm in the minority on House of X, Powers of 10, but I wasn't a fan of that. And I said his. I mean, I bust Zach, chops about Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. I was a huge fan of Hickman's version. I honestly don't think it's as good as Byrne, Thomas, or Lee, but it was very, very good. That was very family oriented, and that could help him with this.
Hickman's Future Foundation is what I read. I like that. I don't know which Fantastic Four that was, but it was the FF.
Well, he did Fantastic Four for about 45 issues, and I think another
became
spinoff series from that. And it focused on the Future Foundation and
yeah.
the kid, like
Where's,
the little dragon kid,
so
and just all
the story I read through was the whole thing with Johnny when he was basically in the negative zone where believes that Spidey was on a team, and that's the only reason I was reading because it's Spidey, because Spider-Man was still written good.
In that book, he wasn't being written well in his own book.
No, yeah. Yeah. But I will take it with a grain of salt because it could be him just phoning it in. The last two things by Hickman, which is the Gods, just seems like a snore to me. But he did the one with the Maker Invasion.
Yeah, Ultimate Invasion.
Overpriced, overinflated. As far as information for price.
This book isn't technically Ultimates, right? It's just
it's a new Ultimates universe that I believe that the Maker was basically building his own universe. He basically delayed Peter Parker from getting bit, and in this universe he's creating, and so Peter Parker explains when he's much older got bit by the spider. The problem is that how did he land a hot babe like MJ? It wasn't like Mr. Hip because he didn't get his confidence until he became Spider-Man. Otherwise, he would get pushed around. He didn't have the strength to get beat up.
It's the old. How did the Jeff Johns and Mark Waid version of Clark Kent get Lois to marry him? We could see John Byrne's version, and that version, but the blue suit sniveling, adjusting the glasses would never have gotten Lois Lane. So it'd be interesting to see how they spin
because his version seems like the Steve Ditko version. At least that's what I would expect. If Steve Ditko version never got the powers, he was kind of a hothead, but he was kind of, like you said, he was still kind of like a dweeb. And like I said, him being set up with Mary Jane, probably from if they keep that part at least. But the other thing is that now there's a Green Goblin. At least there's a goblin in armor, and it looks like I said. I'm just not a fan of the freaking the Rami armor, for the Goblin. And my thing is it going to be Norman? Because remember, I don't know if it's going to be Norman, if they're going to keep the same. This is all new stuff. Yeah, my fear is that it's like, well, we were talking about tonight. We're talking about as far as just Society of America #7. Jeff Johns is leaving. He's leaving after the series is done. He's gone. Yeah. Is he going to phone it in, or is he?
I think he's already started myself.
Yeah, you said that. Zach said it seemed like he was rushing too much things all in one issue because it's a start of a new arc. So he's kind of world building quick. I'm hoping that this is not a short-lived series. Like, it's a 12-issue limited series. Okay, cool. And then Jody Hollister takes over and ruins it.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That already failed. And
well, that's what Marvel is into. Marvel wants to fail.
Oh, I know. Marvel loves failure. We had Rhaegar saying R.I.P. those gams for Aunt May being gone in this series. Maranya, Deathlock did make an appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And yes, that was good casting. I like that guy on Angel. He's great.
R.I.P. those gams.
I don't know. I said I'm kind of, you're kind of talking me into wanting to give it a try.
I want to. I definitely give the first issue a try because I am a mark for a married Spider-Man. And he has kids. There's no freaking Paul. There's no Nick Lowe's not attached to this bullshit. And I hope it does well. And it's just a big figure to Nick Lowe and Zeb Wells, and just shows
they don't
how
care.
Well, they do if once people if it starts becoming more popular and stuff. Now the problem is that I think the people who are going to like this are the people who are no longer reading comic books. They've left.
That's another.
That's going to kill it.
Yeah, that's come up a lot of times. It's like the throwback series. The reason why none of them have really charted well, is because those are the people that they have driven off. When I was let's see, Rod, Shannon, a couple other guys bought the Avengers War Across Time
Mm-hmm.
because I touted it.
Mm-hmm.
They were all out. Um,
Like I said, there's
what was
people.
it? The Anybody reading World's Finest is because I touted it on the show, because that's the kind of series that would appeal to people that have been driven. Now, fortunately, I see that where that has actually cracked the top 20. That generally is
Really?
in the top 20,
Wow.
so it has caught on, which means that but instead of taking a lesson from, and I realize they've expanded that to a Teen Titans series, but I think they're more interested in giving Jazdia Axelrod another long-standing character to
Yeah.
dike up, and
Uh,
because that's more important to DC than telling good comic
well,
book stories.
at least they have Ram V working now. I don't know if Ram V is going to be on Batman for the next 2 years, or if he's just working in DC and they decide, here, you grade this now. We're going to kick you off
I,
Detective.
I really can't say one way or another if he's good or not, because I don't think I've ever read a Ram V book.
Ram V Catwoman. He did that after Joel
Okay,
Jones.
I've read a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Detective has been pretty good. It was more of a gothic, it was more of a detective story,
yeah,
which it should
I
be.
just
Unfortunately, though, well, before when it was Mariko Tamaki and that it was connected to Chip Zdarsky and all that stuff, this Ram V right now is not connected to anything that's going on in the Batman and Robin. Josh Williamson, another guy we like, he's forced to write crappy version of Batman because of what's going on in Zdarsky's book. Uh, like I said, continuity is great when you actually have good stories going, good writers. When you have shitty writers, sorry, drop it. We're
yeah,
not going to do that crap anymore.
yeah. Fear
That's why I like. That's why I like World's Finest. World's Finest. It's just he's not tied to anything like that. He's able to go back. Now the problem with Mark Waid's though, I said people don't like him for what he did outside the book, but also people may not like the fact that he's kind of modernizing it a little bit.
Well, as I say, I've heard a lot of good things about that. Is Many Deaths of Layla Starr, is that Ram V?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as I said, I just missed the boat on that. It's a lot easier to get me to try an indie book at this point, because it's just because the
Oh,
big two have done so much damage to their brand. I just wasn't reading
speaking of
anything new at the time when that came out.
indie books, and if anyone who's not been reading Big Game or read Checked Wanted or any
Oh,
of the Miller World stuff, you are missing out. It's probably one of the best events. Even Wes said it. I think
I mean,
critical. And I agree with him. It is the best event that's happened in comics in a long time that I personally feel.
it's
I don't remember I don't know how much Wes had said as far as time period, but for me, I think it's probably the best event I've ever read from Marvel. I don't care for Civil War. I didn't really care for Secret Invasion. Now, I'd never read. I read part of Infinity Gauntlet, but it never got through.
um
But
I would say I'll still stick to
I like
the
Siege.
Marvel events, that
Yeah,
from House of M through Siege, but because I have decades of investment in those characters. Big Game was a blast. It's best event I've read since
yeah.
Siege, but I haven't read a lot because Marvel events and DC events are so disjointed now. I mean, when DC tried to do the Joker War, I
Hmm.
mean, there was a time when they could coordinate an event through 10, 11 Bat books.
I
They
think
couldn't even keep it straight with four.
I think the last event that I liked from DC was No Man's Land going
Oh,
through.
there have been some since then,
But
but
the one I really love the most, like I said, for me reading personally, I'm going through DC myself. Currently, it's No Man's Land. I haven't read the 2000s events, Blackest Night or Brightest
Final
Day.
Crisis or no, I'm sorry, Infinite Crisis. The lead up to that and Infinite Crisis was excellent.
But
But
big,
your
yeah,
point is well taken. Now, in the late '80s into the early '90s, when they post Crisis,
yeah,
whether it was Legends, I know people crap on Millennium. maybe it's not as good as the other ones, but
with the robots. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Invasion, or what was it? Yeah, Invasion.
Invasion with the Daxamites.
Zero Hour. But I'll tell you what, Final Night. That is what yeah. Blackest Night was really good. And it was a lot more expansive than any of the other ones I've mentioned. I mean, Blackest Night was probably the most expansive this side of No Man's Land.
Yeah,
and it was, and they pulled it off. But Final Night, it was quick. It is each issue. The books that it covered, it was getting colder because basically the sun had been extinguished.
yeah.
And there were some back when the tie-ins, if they weren't necessary, you wanted to read them because I mean, God, you read some of those books and get cold reading them. That's how well done. Just like Cataclysm, you felt like you were in the earthquake. I mean, that's how well done that was. Yeah, I mean, Big Game. I didn't feel like I was there, but it was excellent for it was as good as an event of an indie company can be. And and that sounds like I'm damning it with faint praise, and I'm not. It was really, really good. And
but
I want more. Yeah,
it's a Big Game. It goes all the way. It connects Kick-Ass, the very first character that Mark did, and ends with it's basically a love story to Kick-Ass fans. People who've been with him forever, wanted all these characters. Huck, Starlight. I mean, and I love the fact he makes Nemesis such a horrible, horrible villain, a dick. Nobody likes him, and when he gets his just desserts, it is just awesome. But it's not just that. There's so much going on in this book, wow moments, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're so busy focusing on this, I forgot about this. That's what now this makes sense. While this person is here, we should have been there, and it's just exciting for Page. The art is phenomenal. So many 2-page spreads that should be like posters.
I'm going to answer Geeky's question.
Yeah.
If you are in that group of people that believe Grant Morrison is a top tier writer from the beginning of his career to the end, then yes. If not, avoid that like 10 plagues. I hated it. I hated everything about Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Other than ended up finding a way to bring they brought Batman back, but I don't even think that was really part of it.
Did they bring back Barry in that?
No, that was oh god, that was what was the series that did that? They did one for Green Lantern and for the Flash.
Oh.
And Jeff Johns and I think Van Sciver did both of
them. Final Crisis.
No. It was they were miniseries that they brought them both back in.
Oh.
And I don't think, I think it was after Barry came back after Infinite Crisis, if I'm getting my timeline right. Never should have been done. I can make a much better case for Hal coming back than Barry, because Hal's death was a result of him going, thank you, Rebirth. Jesus God. Don't get old, people. Hal's death was brought on by him turning evil. His mind snapped. He turned evil. He killed the Green Lantern Corps. I believe he killed some Guardians and basically just went nuts. Barry had the most heroic death in the history of comics. It should have never been cheapened by bringing him back, because let's be honest, what the hell, what has been done with Barry? Okay, what made Barry work in the Silver and Bronze Age was he was married to Iris.
Mm-hmm.
And they played into that.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a couple now, but they've never gotten remarried. Yeah. And what have they done with Barry that they couldn't have done with Wally?
Barry should have only came back in New 52 when they were launching the books.
No, I don't even think then, because I know it's new universe. Because again, it doesn't matter. You could do all the retrofitted miniseries you want, but bring him back after the way he saved everything. but his sacrifice saved everything. And so at least with Hal, if you want to fight, they found a way to, I mean, he redeemed himself in Final Night, and then they put the genie back in the bottle by saying that Parallax was a separate entity that took him over. Okay, I'll buy that. Like I can buy that Jean Grey was in a coma at the bottom of Jamaica Bay from X-Men 101 to FF 286. Fine, it's comics.
She wasn't. She came out of the bay, and then she's had some Mai Tais. She lost her memory.
But the Barry Allen thing, it just cheapened what was. And I realize that's the problem with comics, especially at the big two. So many of the greatest stories that have ever been told, Craven should have never seen the light of day after Craven's Last Hunt. In a perfect world, Doctor Doom doesn't make another appearance after FF 200. I understand that's not how comics work. Nothing lasts forever unless it's Uncle Ben. Mm-hmm. And even then they found ways to, almost do it. But again, like I said, but that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Yeah. So okay. So here's something. I probably know what your answer is going to be, but when it came from the post-crisis, they reset everything as far as the 80s going into the 90s,
mm-hmm.
Who was your favorite character to read?
The favorite DC post-crisis?
Yeah.
Superman. No, without question.
Yeah. Because like I said, I've been really enjoying that too.
It was so... the only thing that was the same with post-crisis or pre-crisis and post-crisis Superman was the way they looked. Everything else had changed. And as much as, I like reading those old Silver Age stories and Bronze Age stories and Golden Age stories, it was, to me, Superman was like the Three's Company of comics. Doesn't matter what episode from what season of Three's Company, the only way you can tell them apart is whether Suzanne Summers is in them or not. Nothing ever changed. No character development whatsoever. That was Superman for 60 years. I'm sorry, 50 years. And, once in a while, like Denny O'Neil had a little run in 1971. Marv Wolfman had a little run on Action Comics in like 82. But by and large, when they were gone, anything that they introduced was immediately forgotten. So, Superman was definitely number one. Because as much as I liked the Green Arrow series, there were elements of Green Arrow that you were recognizable from. So, there's a really good Green Arrow miniseries in '83 that I highly recommend.
Like I said, I like Green Arrow with Grell. Mike Grell is.
That's what it was fantastic. I mean, I just read the last couple days, and the first half of that series. No disrespect to the second half, but when Grell was writing it, it just had a different feel, and I enjoyed it all the way through, but. I'm partial to Grell.
Mike Grell is a crime writer when it comes to that, as far as
he loves the jungle.
Yep.
That's why he always finds ways to put safaris in, especially in John Sable.
Yeah.
I think that probably hampered him in Iron Man. I don't think he could figure out a way to bring some of his favorite things into his run on Iron Man. But
Camelot.
that wasn't him.
I know. But I mean, I think he did Doom Quest. Did he not?
Mm-hmm.
He did one similar to that, though.
He took over the book years after even the second Doom Quest. No, blow my nose.
Go ahead. You can blow your nose on camera. I don't care. Just don't blow at the screen. Oh, man. Green Lantern Rebirth. I haven't really looked Green Lantern. I've read in the past couple of years. I've read some of the 90s Green Lantern, so I kind of liked it, and sometimes I didn't. You can tell it must have been the late 90s when Carol was pregnant, but it wasn't like Hal's baby. It was like the Star Sapphire was pregnant.
Now I will say that
was weird.
The Green Lantern Rebirth. See, the problem with Green Lantern is he was much more interesting dead because all the things that they did stories with him where he had so much more personality. And they did that with the Emerald Dawn series.
Mhm.
Because nothing against the pre-crisis Green Lantern series. It was fine. Steve Englehart was on it for years. It was well done. But there everything just seemed to change and for the better post-crisis. And when they brought Green Lantern back, to prominence, it was it worked. And I said the idea, but I guess it just didn't. Maybe it just didn't click. Maybe that's why they decided to do the radical change of him turning bad, which had really never been done in comics, where the title character basically does a heel turn and has to be replaced. I mean, it was different than Tony Stark, drowning in a bottle of booze.
Yeah.
But and it gave us, in my opinion, a very credible replacement in Kyle Rayner, because it completely changed the dynamic. And that character, I thought, I was a huge Kyle Rayner fan, and to give the devil his due, Ron Mars' run on that with that character was fantastic.
Yeah. So you said earlier, said I like the fact that early Kyle was actually written better than what I've seen. I didn't care for the early 2000s or late 2000s Kyle.
Oh, after his subsequent appearances after that Green Lantern series ended with 181,
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really knew what to do. Especially, what do you do with him when Hal Jordan's back?
And then how does he get along with Hal Jordan, the guy
Well,
who
he had a good relationship with Guy and John, and it lots of Ion never really did it for me. And honestly, I really didn't follow. I haven't followed the characters that close since Flashpoint, so I don't really know what they've done with him since then. Um, but I did like that. I did like that character a lot. That was one of my favorite books at the time. Was the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern.
yeah, 'cause I look at Kyle Rayner, probably was probably as written as just as well as Superboy at the time too. I like because I've been looking at some of the Superboy stuff, and I've been collecting those, and they're just fun books.
Yeah, I said Green Lantern was a better comic. Superboy was a lot of fun. First half of that series. Second half, maybe not as much, but I also, at some point, that version of Superman or Superboy was going to wear thin. I mean, there's only so many times you can go to that well, and the Connor Kent Superboy that was in the Jeff Johns Teen Titans that led up to Infinite Crisis. There's a Teen Titans annual where Connor and Cassie. This was before Connor realized he was trans, but Connor and Cassie
Did
get
Brian
together,
say that?
and basically Connor knows that he's basically what he's going to have to do is more than likely going to get him killed.
Yep.
So he and Cassie spend the night together in the Kent family barn, and basically, she meets Ma Kent and is like completely mortified. And it's just such a well done, human story. And Ed Bennis is the artist, so you got that going for you too. But I said, if you ever come across that annual, the cover's basically Connor and Cassie, and she's like leaning into him to kind of like kiss him. It's a terrific book.
And then he has a silhouette of Ma Kent in the background on the miss with a rolling pin. Oh.
Yeah, but it was very, very well done. And I said at a time when DC was really, really good.
And they're talking about She-Hulk. And did Quintus, we all agree that modern She-Hulk is turned into basically young YA novel.
Yeah,
it is. It is. There is no action. I read the first arc, and I read it through like 1 through 14. I even actually 1 through 15, and then it wasn't that great. The art was good, was decent. It wasn't bad, but I'm sorry, no She-Hulk Fight Club thing. Luke Cage, Danny Rand, and like She Thing. I think She Thing or might have been involved too. I can't remember, but I know Titana was in it, and I was just like, this is stupid. And then her like, oh, Jagger Heart's is alive. He doesn't know how or what, and his power. He doesn't have his powers. And then it was just
I
corny.
liked the idea of Jennifer and Titania getting together to like brawl it out as like a way to relieve stress.
Yeah,
But
but
that should have been the end of it.
yeah, that's it.
A fight club with like, Rainbow Rowell going, okay, who have I heard of? Or who did I read about when I read
Do
the
we,
wiki page?
yeah, do it and then when I was saying like we should get T-shirts, it's like and like what are we calling ourselves? It's just like, yeah, it is. No, I'm just not into it.
No, I said,
Now, if they're trying, like I said, that's another example. They're trying to aim that book towards girls because they think that She-Hulk is for girls, not knowing that She-Hulk was for boys back in the day.
well, the comic industry. I heard somebody put this very well. The comic book industry was for boys. Then the activists came in and changed it into a thing for girls, not realizing that the girls they thought would join would start reading them didn't, and the girls that were already there liked comics because of they liked the way they were, because women weren't disrespected. It's just they knew it's like if as a guy you like YA novels, more power to you, but they're not written for you. If you can find something to get out of them, great.
All right.
But I think that the comics, this idea that we're going to make them for girls, but we're not going to lose the customer. Well, I shouldn't say it, because they tried their damnedest to get rid of all the so-called problematic fans. And again, I always go back to something Richard said. You're selling toothpaste. Toothpaste companies will sell their toothpaste on death fucking row. They don't care. Making customers pass a purity test to buy your product when that product is awful.
It's like Dracula and Son. You're watching a movie with Christopher Lee, and like his son, is like, well, I'll take the. Because Dracula said, I'm not going to do a freaking toothpaste commercial, so his son takes up it. it was just like, it's so corny. Oh man, yeah. Like I said, I hope in my lifetime, that Marvel and DC they can earn my trust back by putting out books consistently where I do not have to go preview a book before I read it, or go pick it up at the store, because I do not want to be like go into the store and blindly pick up a book anymore. I used to do it back in the day when I first got into it. I never looked at the preview pages and all that stuff, and I wasn't that kind of person. I went in there, dude, the store, I'm picking it up. The store is awesome. I'm picking up Iron Man. Iron Man's awesome. Spider-Man, great. That's awesome. And then I said, now it's like I go to pick up a book. It's like, if I pick a book and it's crappy, it's well, okay, that's shame on them. But if I go again and I pick up again, it's like, wow, shame on me. I should have known better. I should have looked at the book. I'm starting to look at writers. I never used to do that because I could trust a book that would be written well.
Exactly. By the way, Maranya, she's the only person that I know is a woman that's watching this.
Yeah.
If there are others, I don't know from the names. None of the so-called written for women books by the big two appeal to her. That's kind of the point.
They don't have Chesterfields.
Now, I will say that all those characters you just mentioned, all those books.
Yeah.
There was a 30-year stretch where I bought them all. If it had Batman on the cover, if it had Spider-Man, Captain America, name the superhero. There were some lows among the highs, but the highs outnumbered the lows by a lot. And that ship sailed 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I never imagined that I would be this active in this hobby in 2023, but not reading Spider-Man,
I
Batman, Fantastic Four, Thor, Daredevil. Pick, I said,
by
it's unbelievable that it's
by the end of
Avengers,
Siege,
X-Men, nothing.
by the end of Siege, I had dropped so many titles that I was buying. I'm trying to think what the last event. I think it was Hickman's Battle World thing back in the day. Was that 2015 or 14? I literally after that ended the Battle World thing.
Well, did
I
you
was
buy that Secret Wars thing this week?
no Zach did. He
Because
enjoyed.
I saw that the guys at Weird Science. If the thumbnail was any indication, they said Secret Wars should have stayed a secret. Which I
Zach.
guess Thomas. Well,
Well,
look,
Zach
Zach's a lot more.
open,
He's a lot more.
forgiving too.
Because he doesn't have the decades of reading that some of us old timers have had, and that means
Not only
good for
that,
him. I mean,
not only that, a lot of us, if you grew up with a character reading a certain way, it's kind of hard for us to change and accept it as a different way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. It's
That's with me. Definitely for me, I didn't grow up with it, but I grew up with the '90s cartoon version, the X-Men cartoons. That's my experience into comic books. That it's a tick cartoon. I went and then when I was 18, right around 2000, 2003, I went to comic book store. I figured like, oh, look, there's comic books, because I figured like, oh, because I didn't realize these were comic book characters. I thought these were just made up, cartoon characters. I was like, wow, these are really cool. So then I went and like, got the comics, and I got the collection. Luckily, I was able to go online and get that 40th anniversary collection of Spider-Man. So it was 1 through like up to 600. I was able to just read on and 11 CD-ROM. Fun. Oh, I was great. I was so grateful for that because I was able just to binge. I was reading I was like, it took me 2 weeks to get through everything because I was reading like 20 issues a night. And then on top of that, I was going back and reading them in black and white essentials. So I got Punisher that way. I was reading that way too. And so I was just having fun with that. But once you start changing the characters, Ultimate Spider-Man, when it came out, I was like, my friend, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm picking this up. I'm like, young Peter Parker. And I'm like, oh, he's got a freaking smartphone. What? Ah! I'm like, Frank Sinatra, where are you? Where's Bing? The coffee bean, it's not there. It's,
I was going to say, I know you haven't read much X-Men, older stuff, but if you pick up one from, say, the late 80s,
yeah,
the team was basically Wolverine, Longshot, Rogue, Dazzler, Betsy Braddock, and a couple other women. It was Storm. It was basically like 5 women and 2 guys.
Yeah.
No one noticed. No one cared. No one, complained. And now it's like
there was no equal pay.
It never happened before. And any random issue you pick up that say was Claremont Silvestri is better than anything you're going to read from the X books today. Because, like I said, the X-Men, like I said, the X universe is a gay bar now. I mean, that really is that's all that it's about.
Which you meant to say because they're better and you know it, baby.
I wish, but that would be factually incorrect. And it's
no, I know I meant the old ones, not the new ones.
Oh, absolutely. They are.
Yeah, the new ones. Hoxpox was okay. Wolverine going off. Wolverine being killed. Once I saw all of them being killed off, going into I was like, okay, this is getting really weird. Because now you just killed them off. Okay, I'm like, oh, this Elseworlds. Okay, I figure like, oh, okay, we're not gonna do anything. We're gonna have, but then, oh, they're back alive again. What? And it's like it's just got the point where it's like, okay, now when you start bringing characters back, and then you come off again, you keep killing them off, it loses the meaning. It loses the risk. Oh, because now they are immortal. They can just keep bringing them back. Sorry, I don't care for that crap. Well, and even if you wrote them as heroes, the fact that they can still get killed and they come back, Wolverine should not be able to be destroyed into like a single cell, and come back. Sorry, adamantium, would still be there. His animated skull would still be there, but I mean, his brain, if it's gone, it's gone. He's not regenerating.
I
Drop of blood. Oh, it's Wolverine.
I honestly, I said I didn't read it myself, but I do think that just based on being around this hobby for 50 years, I think one of the reasons why Hoxpox was so well received was because longtime X-Men fans were so starved for something. Because a lot of the X-Men purists didn't even like the Fraction run in the like 2007, 8. I did. I didn't mind it. And the fact they had phenomenal art, and Marvel, I thought was doing everything but Spider-Man well at the time. I think they were so desperate to have something that didn't smell like mustard, taste like mustard and bigotry, or whatever that fucking line was from X-Men Red. Tom Taylor, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That I think they just wanted it to be good so bad, and the bar was set so low, and it has since been. If you thought it was bad leading up to that, what does Vita call it? The trash queer squad said,
Who's Vita?
yeah, hold my beer.
Vita's gone.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Well, actually, no. I heard that Vita's coming back in a book. I can't remember what it was. I think LK brought up it was supposed to be either a Marvel or a DC book.
And therein lies the problem with One Hire, because I said it's as long as people like Vita Ayala get work now, and I realize Chuck Dixon won't come back because he couldn't take the pay cut. But as long as
they don't want him back. I don't think they even want him back.
No, I said as long, but when you have a company that will hire Vita, won't hire Chuck, you're not a serious company at that point, and that's what they are.
I mean, they do have some stuff going for DC. They did their Return of Superman thing, which was basically a cash grab. But the problem is that it was a decent story. You had the original people coming back once again. They add more stuff. The whole Perry White story.
I don't think that was a cash grab because I don't know how well it did.
Well,
that was a love letter to anybody that Megan Fitzmartin hadn't driven away.
Well, I say cash grab I should probably do the quotes because anybody looking at it's a cash grab. They're going for nostalgia, blah blah blah. But the problem is that the people who would buy it are gone.
Right,
they're not here. The few that remain because they got involved with YouTube channels. I didn't get back in comic books until about end of 2018, 2019. I discovered I Love Comics over there. Then we got in, and then we by 2019, you and I went on there on camera with him. We started reviewing the new comic books. I read pretty much all of Joshua Williamson's Flash books, all the way up to issue 88, I think it was. So I read from Rebirth all the way up to 2019, and that's what got me back in the comic books was I wanted to be caught up, and I enjoyed the heck. I don't read Flash. I never read Flash before. I watched Wally West in the Justice League cartoon. That was the most I got anything out there.
Well, my point about that all along was that could have just easily been a Wally West book. Yeah, like I said Barry should have still been dead, and that should have been. They should have found things to do with Wally. But again, proving that DC never learned shit because they've undone it again. And they took a character I said,
you're putting Jason Aaron on a Batman title in the Elseworlds, which no one gives a shit about.
At least it's not on an in continuity for whatever that's.
Wait till Bruce Wayne's no longer Batman again.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in a perfect world, Jeremy Adams would be able to write as much as he could in a month.
My God, Jeremy Adams is probably my favorite writer at DC right now. I like Johns, but
you need to DM him.
Yeah,
and see if he'll come on. Because like I said, he did that interview with Lost in Comics, and apparently he knows those guys. But he's the only reason why I'm reading Jay Garrick Flash. He's the only reason why I'm reading Green Lantern. I wish you were writing more.
Right.
I said, if everybody, if they found him, there've got to be more guys like Jeremy Adams out there.
Oh, this is a guy who, as far as I know, he's always been a fan of comic books,
Yeah.
but never really thought about writing comic books. He basically got his job writing scripts for movies, TV shows. He started out with the Lego, DC Lego movies.
I like
And that,
those.
yeah, he did the Flash ones and then superhero stuff, and then he came on for well, out of nowhere, and Randy Orton took over for Flash after Josh Williams left, and I was like, and even I said, who the hell is this new guy? Because I was like, oh no, because I had just went through the whole experience with the Jurgens being kicked off and when Diddy's Hawkman was done. I was like, now they're changing Flash. I was like, oh, kick me in the balls again, why don't you?
There was a guy in between Williamson and Adams was good too.
Kevin McGuire, wasn't it Kevin McGuire?
No, he's an artist.
It was something like that. It was something McGuire or Kevin something.
I don't think it was McGuire, but I don't even know if I know the name if you said it because he wasn't around long. But yeah, I said it just 2 issues into Cy Spurrier's Flash, and no one cares. And I mean, no one.
Yes. This, like I said, Jeremy Adams took the Flash. He kind of went quietly. Took Wally in and kind of put Barry to the side, but he didn't really just like say, you know what, I'm going to just write Wally, screw Barry. He actually brought Barry into some of the stories, worked him in there as well as being a character, as a supporting character for Wally, like Barry should be as a supporting character if he comes in as a cameo. It's just like he did with Green Lantern. He had Barry come in for one issue and be and talk to some sense into Hal, because they're best friends. It's great when you actually have somebody who understands and actually has read past comics, is dictating research. Now, Jeremy Adams has talked to, he's several times he's talked to Mark Waid. Mark Waid, he did the previous one, Wally West, with the kids. So obviously there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like he's be like, I don't necessarily think he agrees and thinks the same way as Mark Waid or any of them, but this guy has the experience. He has 2 young children, 2 young daughters. He knows how mischievous they are. He takes the kids in there. He makes it so just so freaking awesome with that series. As far as it's all about family. Sorry the pun, the meme, but he not only that, he props up Wally so much. Wally's been shit on, and he says "F you" to Tom King with Heroes in Crisis. Joshua Williamson already did that. And Jeremy Adams does even more. But then after that, they kick him off because they want to put Cy Spurrier on the book. And I called it. I said that Cy Spurrier he writes dark, depressing books. And who they put him on there? The other guy who draws depressing books.
Morania's that's basically something that Richard is called for.
Yeah,
just fire everybody and then start rehiring the right people the next day. But they have to be qualified.
So my point being is that Jeremy Adams was awesome on Flash.
Yeah,
he was so great on there. He didn't get a full 5 years. I think he got 2 years.
No. And I wished I'd been reading all along, but
I
came in at the end and loved them.
All of them. Now he's writing Green Lantern. Great story. The Jay Garrick story, man, with Judy, 15-year-old Judy, who basically branched off, was spun off from Stargirl and the Lost Child, and also I think it was what was it called? Flashpoint Beyond. Jeremy Adams was involved in that too.
I don't remember that,
but that's what they did. That's what and Batman basically was. And they brought all the Golden Age heroes with the JSA back to thing.
Oh, okay.
So that was that thing was John did that, and Jeremy Adams is writing the story, and he writes his character so well. Zach, we're talking about last night on the Best of the Week. Jeremy Adams writes each Flash with a personality. Jay is much more hyper fidgety, where Wally is more cool, calm, collect. Barry is kind of like he's not. He's got the wisdom, but he's also kind of second guesses himself sometimes. where Jay and I loved how Jay his whole reaction because he feels so guilty because I had this daughter, I missed all this, and he wants to protect her because he failed to protect her the first time when she got erased from pulled from the timeline, and the whole thing you bring in Courtney. Jeremy Adams is writing freaking Stargirl. One of my favorite characters, Stargirl, was created by by Jeff Johns based on his real life sister who'd passed away, and he writes Courtney. Fantastic.
Mhm.
I felt like it was Johns writing it. It was
Well, I
so
would say I have no doubt, Maranya, that you came up with that before him.
yeah.
I mean, I think all of us had probably felt that at one point that would be about the only thing that could save this industry. But again, it's not.
Yeah.
Undead. It's funny if you type in, like, if I type in DI, it goes right to that. And I said, I can't call him. I never call him Zach. He's just Richard.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Ricky.
Well, I said, he's one of the few people that I was listening to from day one,
Mm-hmm.
who I still like because he's grown. I mean, the guy who was doing the videos 6 years ago is a far cry from the guy that does them today.
Yeah.
And I think, I said, I think Yellow Flash has evolved into somebody that's still worth listening to. But yeah, it's but like I said, the rest, just about the rest of those people that I haven't met, I've kind of fallen by the wayside, like Cecil and all those guys.
Yeah. Your friend Dante, I haven't seen him in a while streaming stuff.
I'm afraid I think he's dead.
Yeah,
because he had mental problems. I mean, like issues, and
God,
the fact he hasn't made a video in 2 years.
We had somebody that remember Tito's World.
Yeah, Tito.
He was in the hospital. He had his leg amputated off because of gangrene, and the leading cause of doing that results you can also get a blood clot, and it kills you.
I've tried to DM Dante a couple times in the last year, no response, and that's the problem with is with this community. Right. If you don't let somebody know, like I said, hey, if something happens to me, I need you to contact. So they
now know. I want everyone in the chat to post their cell phone numbers for me so I can track them down.
But yeah, there was another guy that used to show up on oh God, what's his Ash's late night ones. It wasn't Mark C, who was an England team listener who's passed on.
Yeah,
there's another guy, I can't remember his name, and I'm afraid because he was sick, and I'm afraid he's passed also.
Yeah, it's casual comics is really fun too, entertaining the watch too.
She came out of nowhere. It's like I started watching her, and all of a sudden, I don't know if I just never noticed before, but Richard mentions her 2 or 3 times a week.
I feel like a lot of these other YouTubers, like Casual Comics, probably get overshadowed by all the YouTube drama.
But I don't follow that shit. I look.
Neither do I.
Like
my recommendations got full of all that crap that people I wasn't even watching because you may have clicked on this or no, you should check out this channel. I literally had to go through my YouTube and it says not interested. Do not recommend this channel. Do not recommend this channel. Just so I can see the stuff.
One of the other problems is a lot of the people that I used to watch stopped doing comics related content.
That too.
Comics division, I don't think's brought up a comic book in years.
He needs to change his name.
And that's fine, because they realize if you want to be a YouTuber, but it's like Richard still confines a lot of his content to comics. He has lost 3,000 subscribers from 2 or 3 years ago. Now, I imagine YouTube fudges the numbers because his views don't ally with theirs.
Of course. Look at Instagram.
Then again, Yellow Flash is over 400,000, so maybe not. Yeah.
I mean, talk about Johnny Depp for a while, you get those numbers up. But I love this community though. There's a lot of people I've met through other streamers, and one of them I just came across was Perry Comics about a year or two ago, and I remember used to see him. He'd pop up in E's chat and over at Comics, he'd just be lurking, And one day I just clicked on the thing. I saw he's live. I just jumped on there, hung out with him. Cool dude. Through him, I met John's Comics with Kids, another guy who basically streams with his daughters, his teenage daughters. I said, you realize your daughters are getting into high school age soon. Like they're not be kids anymore. It's John's Comics with teenagers. But I mean, but I said I like the fact that I'm meeting new people, new other YouTubers. John likes the current X-Men. I don't understand it. When he's explaining to me, he likes it better than the Claremont version, which blows my mind. But I don't hate him. I think it's interesting to have conversation with these people and where we don't call each other names. I can respect people that if you call me something because I don't like something you like, like I said, I hate the term black belt. I know I don't want to call somebody that. Now,
no, I can respect their opinions, if not their taste. But to your point, I got a DM today from Rod, wishing me a happy Thanksgiving and checking on my health.
Cool.
I'll never meet him in person. But
I don't want to be
a close friend. I said it's yes, Dr. Silver Age to those of you that have seen him pop up. He's got a fantastic Saturday morning show called Comic Book Memories. Unfortunately, it's up against the comic aficionados
and John's Comic Kids,
which
I have 3 shows to watch.
But yes, I said it's weird. Thanks to this doing this, several people who I count amongst my best friends, I may never meet in person. I guess that's very interesting.
Like I said, I like watching my friend John. I like watching his channel in the Saturday mornings because he's got 2 teenage daughters that are reading comic books. Some of them are reading Brubaker. It's awesome to see the youth of today picking up a comic book, reading it, not because their dads force them to do a YouTube skit. But I mean, like, I like the fact that they actually pick out a book and they're enjoying it. They're reading a lot of the back issues, but they're also reading some of the modern stuff too. And they critique the books that they read. They come out. I mean, that is so cool. I mean, if only Captain Frugal and Little Frugal could do that. But I feel like Captain Frugal has failed us with Little Frugal. Little Frugal has gone to the wayside.
I'm guessing that Little Frugal probably isn't interested in comics. He'd probably rather play
or read manga.
His video games.
I mean, can you imagine it'd be like if John's my friend John is I told his family, he's like, good thing it's not like they read manga. If they only read manga, it'd be John's Manga with Kids. But I mean, I said I love this community, even though I'm finding more and more YouTube channels. Some I don't necessarily agree with, but I like seeing people who aren't just, hey, I like this Marvel book. Check us out, and today's video is sponsored by this. And it's, it's like, I don't like public shows. Now I'll show for this channel, and I'll give some shout outs. But I mean, I just, like I said, I like talking about the books that I like. I could easily talk about books that I dislike. But I feel like there's so many channels that do that, and I sometimes I feel like, well, if I only talk about the books that I like, well, then I come off as a paid shill. Well, I'm not a paid shill. I'm just a shill. I'm not getting paid for this crap. I said I just like talking about comic books. I was sad when he decided to stop reading comic books. Eric did it first. I blame Eric, and then then Engeltein followed it because he ran out of time doing the auction.
What I did first?
You stopped reading. Remember, you stopped reading new Marvel, DC.
Screw
this.
Hey, I don't have a channel. I'm not getting paid to read this shit. And I said, not. I say this to Wes all the time. I go, if reading the shit that you read is the price to pay for having a channel, then it's a better you than me, brother.
Honestly, today, there are a few books I really could drop down, but I am enjoying the books, and then I'm not just reading just because I want to do it for the channel. I read a lot of them. I actually enjoy the titles, so it's a curse because I will be like, oh, a new book pops out. I'm like, should I pick it up? I'm like, well, I mean, it might be good, and then I'm hooked. So now I get it keeps piling up. I'm getting to the point where I'm like I was in the early 2000s. Like, okay, where do I put this shit? I cleared that all my room out, so I had room.
Yeah, well,
But
well said, Undead. It's so simple and to the point. Just read
yeah,
what you like.
watch what you like too.
I said
If
I get. I mean, I'm finding on average about 5 or 6 books a week now. More if I remember to get the right issues.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's just it's. I know. What's his name? Oh God, I can't remember the guy. I Foil, whatever it is,
Oh,
says that.
Bueller, right?
No. The guy says that the direct market might be dead, will be dead in 2 years if Marvel
Oh,
and DC don't get their shit together. I
yeah.
don't know if that's the case or not, but the I said so, I think 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I said if Marvel and DC go away, comic book stores are done. But a lot of stores have figured out how to survive
Yes.
without relying on Marvel and DC sales to really move the needle. And I think at this point, indie sales are almost strong enough to where people will come in just to get those. Whereas it used to be you would pick those up to supplement your Marvel and DC.
It,
But Marvel and DC have been bad for so long that the stores that are still standing will probably survive, even if Marvel and DC disappear.
well, the thing that helped for me a lot, for me, I was in that era where like the late '90s, growing up, or the early '90s. I say like I was 84 and 85, so I had that. I had those this Saturday morning cartoons, which really enforced. It's like so like you know, I like superhero stuff. So when I got older, it's like I was like it's like wow, there's comic books. And I said I'll just want to go check this out. Like that really helped me. The fact that there really isn't any cartoons on at the moment that I've seen from Marvel or DC, they actually remind kids, hey, there are superheroes. Now we live in it's gone from TV Saturday morning cartoons to oh, we have these movies, but the movies suck. They're not aimed towards the boys anymore. So the boy, and then like I said, boys or have always been like we're the guys we like westerns, we like GI Joes. As far as we like the military stuff. So we love superheroes. That's always been our demographic. Girls have been Barbie. That's and then there are some girls like Ronnie's is the exception. They do like the boy stuff because they're like, damn, they got good stuff over here. Why am I playing with this freaking Barbie girl? Or they like, or they get both. It's just ridiculous. It's like they need to start getting rid of the people who are not there to make money. Once they do that, and they start focusing on making money, will they get canceled? Sure, but I don't. I think they'll take too much money before it even affects them.
Ash, I sent you a happy Thanksgiving today. Thank you for not responding. Um,
He's like, what? Who's this? He didn't recognize you because
no, I said, and I saw Marania's comment. It is unfortunate, but they're not coming back to the spinner rack's not coming back because print is so diminished that hell, you go to a grocery store, the magazine section, sometimes you can't even find it. It used to be an entire aisle. You go to bookstores, the magazine
Mhm.
racks have shrunk. It's just like when they're no longer profitable. It's like now you go into Walmart a year from now, you won't be able to buy a DVD. You already can't do that in Best Buy.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately that's just the way it is. And so you have to find ways to get people into stores. One thing I always thought they missed the boat was they should have figured out a way to have them available in movie theaters. For when kids are coming out of superhero movies, they might want to, grab a comic that way. But But well, happy Thanksgiving, Ash. Just say it again, so you don't have to look.
It's okay. Just going through some stuff. Oh man, I don't think we've ever had this many people on in a while. For like 12 people watching right now. It's because we're just shitting on comic books. It's like, but
well, I mean, I'm gonna have to go shortly because I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna end this in a few minutes.
Because I'm actually going back to work at Phil's tomorrow because the 2 week fog in my brain is gone finally. And I know I've had some. You've heard me coughing a lot, but this is the best I felt in over 2 weeks. So this is I'm ecstatic, compared to what I have been, as far as like.
But before we go, there's just something I want to share with people. They may have not seen this. uh, just 1 second.
If it's what I think it is, I will laugh again.
All right. I was earlier. I was fooling around with some stuff, as far as an app, and I haven't done these in a while, but I came up with this.
Okay, now I've gotten a close look at that, and you can eat hot death. My hair game's on point, though.
But it wouldn't be right to do this without having his son.
Okay, now who is that?
That's Zach.
Wow.
You can't tell by the nerdy outfit, and he's wearing a tie. He's
Well, if
graduating.
it was a bow tie, I would have gotten it.
You can't tell me that these do not look like them. Especially you.
I think the one that looks more like me than the other one looks like Zach.
Well, obviously yes. No, but that was kind of cool. Oh my gosh, I just had so much fun with these, and they're
The little Aaron made me laugh today.
that one. Was yeah.
Shit, I'm old enough. That could have I could have been in that ad.
Oh yeah. I gotta get those. 1 second. But yeah, it is just a fun stuff to do with these apps. Play the animated one. It is. You guys will get a sneak peek because I'm gonna upload this other one for tomorrow. But let me get it here. 1 second. Go here to Twitter. What are you up to tomorrow? We got some readings. You got work.
Well, I'll go do half the day at Phil's, and I should be around for the reading. Yeah, that's why I asked Ash if he was gonna keep the stream going and say, take my place, because I actually have to, for the first time in a while, I actually have to be up in the morning. So, but yeah, so I'll do that. And I said, there's actually, I like watching sports at odd times, and there's an NFL game at 3:00 tomorrow. First Friday game, God, since might be since the old AFL Friday night games in the early '60s. So I'll probably watch that, and then so got the readings tomorrow night.
Let's see. Can I open this? Open this new thing. I don't have audio on this thing, but I don't have audio on this. Dang it! But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have audio on this thing yet. But I'll just say this: if you haven't gone to my Twitter page, I'm gonna which is realdrvakeman.com. And go. I've been posting some stuff there. I'm about to post another one. Just right now. Unfortunately, because I can't play audio through Firefox.
While you're messing around, did you pick up this back issue, Vink?
No, I did not.
It's 2 issues ago now, but Jerry has an article in here. They did a thing, the top 20 Perez books, and he does the one for the DC Comics Presents 26, which was the preview of the new Teen Titans.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to get here.
That's pretty good, Rhaegar.
I can't. Unfortunately, yeah. So I'm gonna have to do that for tomorrow. But we do have a reading tomorrow, and then maybe I'll upload some stuff here. But unfortunately, yeah, I can't because to do the audio stuff, I don't have it on Firefox. But yeah, I do have some more Face app stuff, which I'll probably upload.
Of course you do.
Yes. Definitely go to my Real Dr. Venkman and check it out there. And yeah, I got some Christmas ones popping up soon too. So with that being said, if you guys haven't already done so, please click like, subscribe. If you can donate $1 or if you want to the channel, go to ko-fi.com. Basically, the money goes to for paying for our comic books that we use to read on the channel, which we will be reading tomorrow. We will be reading another Action Comics 313 is the issue.
Yeah. The last time I saw it, it was still saying 457. You sure you fixed it?
That was the original one. The new one.
Right, but it still said 457. It had the right title, but the wrong issue number. Did you get that changed on the thumbnail?
On the thumbnail, yeah. It is, yeah. No, that's right. No, that's already gone. No, okay, that was a different one. That's one we read offline.
No, there's one. The one we did for 457. That's come up, hasn't it?
You know what? You are right. I did not change the title because I just changed the thumbnail. You're right though. But we will
the
be
issue number.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah,
it's 313, right?
It's 313. Yes, with Supergirl.
If you haven't seen the one from Action Comics 457, in between stories, you get a wonderful rendition of the All in the Family theme.
And then we also got for Saturday we have Fantastic Four 100. We read a while back. That's gonna be uploaded around like 1:00. That's gonna be fun. Central. And we also for tomorrow the other reading we're gonna be reading is Invincible #2. I can't believe how popular like Invincible reading was that we did. 122. Action Comics 457 is 141 views. It feels nice to be loved, guys. It's been a while since we've seen those numbers on our reading.
I'm pretty sure that the cover of 457 might have helped that just a bit.
I don't know. We'll find out. But Invincible issue #2, we'll be reading that tomorrow as well. What can I say? You get more Jameson as Omni-Man. You're gonna hear that voice. You're gonna hear the Jameson voice.
Is that the other one we're doing tomorrow night?
Yeah. That's gonna be the first one we're gonna do, and then Trusty's gonna join us for the Action Comics 313. Man, I just love those old covers for the Action Comics. I'm going through them. We're thinking about doing Lois Lane's Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, #5, where Superman gets Lois Lane fat on purpose.
Yeah, we should do 106 someday too. That's the one where he puts her in the Turner Black machine.
I look at that. I'm looking forward to it, as long as Mirand's not eating chicken on screen.
Well, I think we better wrap this up. I saw how late it was.
Right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. As always, we love you. Click the notification bell. Also, I said, if you're not following us over on Twitter, you should be, because I post the links as far as when we're going live, the times frame, so you know. Yeah. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And is it too early to say Merry Christmas?
No.
It's after
not now.
Thanksgiving.
That's after Thanksgiving, so
Cue the Mariah Carey music. That's how you...
coming out of the coffin like the Undertaker. It's
Oh
that
wait,
time
wait,
of
wait,
year.
oh, wait. Cue the Valentine music. We're past that. See you later, guys.
We made it to 2 hours.
Oh,
And
we're
now to all a good night.
night, guys.